Now, you have heard, I think, the salient points, fundamental issues raised by the society. And I think these are critical in our struggle. We believe in the sanctity of the constitutional safeguards and principles. There's nothing new about it. I think we take great pride and satisfaction, and we are blessed by the sacrifice of our earlier freedom fighters, independence leaders, who set up the fundamental principles in the Constitution, enshrined, supported. And what we stand for in Pakatan Rakyat, be it Parti Keadilan, DAP or PAS, do not steer away from these fundamental principles. But mind you, the Constitution has been diluted, or to use a cruder term, prostituted. The fundamental principles have been eroded so much that the meaning of freedom of conscience, freedom of expression, rule of law is being compromised. Who can safely say in this country that there's freedom of conscience? The debate ages on. Contentious issues raised from time to time. I don't think there's any conventional Islamic principles. I've discussed this at length with the past leaders. Because normally the general view is that the problem about freedom of conscience relates to past. So Zulkifli is here and will help to elucidate some of the earlier points raised. The issue is more contentious among UMNO, who uses religion as if they are great believers and committed to the religion and religious principles. My point is simple. If you really subscribe to religious principles, then you would reject injustice and corruption and the squandering of billions of ringgit in the name of Melayu and Islam to enrich yourself and your colleagues. And then the issue of freedom of expression. This is Islam. It's something which is dear to us. That's why we say sanctity of life, property, freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, and respect for human dignity. Mind you, these religious principles has something in common with the Bill of Rights, or what is termed in the United States, Balance, Jeffersonian ideas. But let me remind you that from my understanding of Islam, the religion, is consistent with the higher objectives of the Sharia. Why is quarrel and battle about Islam? When I understand the maqasid of the Sharia, which means the higher objectives of religious principles, cannot run away from these fundamental principles. You cannot talk about a higher objective of Islamic principles without freedom of conscience, without freedom of expression, without sanctity of life and property, and respect for human dignity, which means gender equality. Otherwise, Malaysia would object strongly. Now, again, these principles have been compromised. Where is the freedom of expression? Look at a series of laws. Look at the media. This is 2009, 51 years after independence. We don't have a free media. It's shameful. It's an insult to the intelligence of an ordinary citizen in this country. I was returning with Aziza 3 days back from Johannesburg on the invitation of President Jacob Zuma, the ANC leader and now President of South Africa. A country that understands fully well what racial discrimination and apartheid is all about. Who rejoiced freedom by honoring this fundamental principle of freedom of conscience and freedom of expression. We have a lot to learn from the Indonesian experience and from the South African experience. Don't come here and expect and glorify Mandela when you actually condemn all his ideas. Mandela stands for freedom. Freedom of conscience, freedom of expression, rule of law and justice for all. And now we honor that man but condemn his ideas. We condemn Myanmar, but we honor their ideals. It's sheer hypocrisy and contradiction. You have to show authenticity. You honor them. You condemn their ideals. You pretend to condemn Myanmar, the military junta, but you support all the principles and the practice, those corrupt, decadent, oppressive rule in Myanmar. And today, as you know, Aung San Suu Kyi is again convicted